Hello, friends. Welcome back to Gecko's Gaming. And also, welcome to my attempt to cope with a metagame that's extremely hostile to one of my pet decks, which is Demons. And so, this is an attempt to rework Demons sort of from the ground up and adapt it to a metagame dominated by Dimir midrange and Golgari roots and other decks which are just really difficult for this deck to deal with. I don't know if this is good, but it is an attempt to make demons playable. I'll talk about a couple other options that you might want to pursue if you, like me, love these demons decks with the slasher. But first, let's get into this one. So we have blue black, which dominates this metagame. Blue black also completely just it's awful playing demons against blue black for a number of reasons. One is you have these clunky creatures that get tapped down by Flood Pitch Drowner easily and die to like 2 mana removal spells that they run. And it's not a good place to be. The other reason is we don't have good answers to. We don't really have profitable ways to interact or answer their best threats, which are Kaido and Enduring Curiosity. And so to mitigate that, I have two main deck blotouts. Target opponent exiles a creature or planeswalker they control with the greatest mana value. It's an instant. So this is the cleanest way that I have yet found to take care of both Kaido and Enduring Curiosity in one fell swoop, and even to do so at a tempo advantage because it costs 3 instead of 4. The other, another problem that we run into against the blue-black decks is that they populate the board with a bunch of little 1/1s and flying 1/1s and stuff like that, and 2/1s that can really just stonewall our slasher and kind of like make it. They can present infinite blockers for our threats, which we need to get through, and we don't have the luxury of trample or things like that. And especially when the decks are playing things like Fabloom Trick, which puts 2 1/1s in for one card and taps a guy, which is often relevant too. You know you can't answer that with spot removal. And also Fairy Mastermind in particular is the biggest problem because it lets them draw cards whenever we draw from Annex, so it completely destroys the card advantage from an Unholy Annex, which the deck really relies on to get ahead into the mid to late game. So all of those present a big problem for this deck. And my solution is splashing red for fire magic. Because for 1 mana, we can clear Flood Pitch Drowners, multiple fairies, even Spyglass Sirens, but most importantly, Fairy Masterminds. And a lot of these cards have flash, so that's where I'm not a big fan of Pyroclasm. Not only does Pyroclasm cost 2 to deal with all of those, but it's also a sorcery. So they're flashing in things at the end of your turn, and then they're flashing in 2/1s at the end of your turn, flashing in multiple 1/1s at instant speed or in the middle of combat. And you need to be able to answer that profitably in order to get ahead. And so this costs 1 mana, and it will often destroy multiple of the opponent's creatures, as well as the most problematic one of Fairy Mastermind. And like I said, like since they come in at instant speed, being able to blow them out for 1 mana at instant speed is big game in this matchup. So I'm main decking Fire Magic for that reason. It also doesn't. It plays well with the rest of the cards in the deck, even if we go all the way up to the 3 mana, 2 damage to each creature. It doesn't kill anything else in the deck. So it seems like a good home for Fire Magic here. It seems to shore up a lot of the weaknesses that the deck has to the current metagame. It's also good against Golgari Roots, which is another difficult deck for demons to interact with. And so that's the logic there. And then we're almost pre-boarded against Dimmer right now because we have blotouts, Fire Magics. Blotout might be okay against Golgari Roots too. I haven't tried it there yet, but they often get those the Overlord of the Belmerk. This can take that out pretty easily. You can also take out Tyvar, which they rely on a lot. It's not really profitable against Tyvar because it costs 3 and Tyvar costs 3, but also gives it value right away. So not sure about that. We'll see. But then along with red also comes Fear Missing Out, which is simply one of the best cards in the format right now. This card is just great. And one of the problems that the Demons deck runs into is it doesn't have early filtering or any kind of way to set their draw or filter or cantrip early on. And you can end up with clunky draws quite often where you just kind of need to just bulldoze through and hopefully get the right combination of lands and spells that you need. FOMO goes a long way in terms of smoothing out the draw. And something else too about this deck is it doesn't use the graveyard as a resource really at all. There's nothing in here that uses the graveyard as a resource. So, but it does have a good mix of card types. We have a good mix of sorceries and instants that are proactive and cheap, so we can fill that up pretty easily. And we do just kind of trade. We're black mid-range decks. We're going to trade resources with the opponent. We're going to end up with naturally just a mix of cards in the graveyard. So you can get Delirium with FOMO reasonably, and it presents an interesting question for the opponent because they may bring in Graveyard Hate if they see FOMO, but Graveyard Hate is pretty much blank against the rest of our deck, and FOMO still serves as a functional 2-mana 2/3 that can rummage or draw a card. So it is nice to attack from that angle. It gives us a little bit of use for the graveyard. It might throw the opponent for a curveball where they have to decide if they want to try to bring in Graveyard Hate that's largely dead against our deck. But mostly it provides that smoothing out of the draw that the deck really needs, and it provides another early threat or just board presence. And then also, obviously, when you have Delirium, which this deck can get Delirium, it's not really that bad for this deck to get Delirium. And FOMO helps because you can discard the type that you need. But FOMO also can have some crazy turns with Slasher or your Flying Demons and stuff where the second combat can oftentimes just be the end of the game. So that's pretty cool. And then we have Cecil, just a good aggressive creature that can trade off early also. And I'm not too concerned about the life loss because we can gain a lot of life later on. Dreams of Steel and Oil, I think, is really strong in the meta. It's good against blue-black. It takes care of Enduring Curiosity, and a lot of their interaction is kind of creatures that do things, so that's helpful. And the Graveyard Clauses comes in handy a lot, too, against certain decks. Duress. So we have these 6 discard spells, so kind of the main plan A is we just throw the opponent off, balance, take their removal spell, whatever we need to clear the way for Slasher, Equizats, and kill them that way. But then, they also have additional ability to be able to just pick apart the opponent's game plan. But their floor is kind of high in this deck for these cards because we're sort of essentially a combo deck. We're trying to set up a combo on the board and kill the opponent so we can take away the pieces that would disrupt our combo. And then since we're playing red, I'm trying out Burst Lightning over Cutdown. It's versatile. It can take out bigger creatures when we get into the mid to late game, whereas Cutdown can't. And then also, it's kind of cute, but if we have Equizats out and we burn them on our turn, it'll do twice as much damage. So having the versatility to be able to go to the face can come in handy sometimes. This deck really can get them down to a low life total and then just use that to finish them off. So let's talk about the sideboard. We have an interesting mix here, so I'll just kind of go through some of the main points. We have the third Fire Magic. Some of the stuff is self-explanatory. Strategic Betrayal for blue-red and decks that have good creatures and rely on the graveyard. And then a Braid is also pretty self-explanatory. We'll bring it in against decks with artifacts. So bring it in against Gruul Delirium. They have plenty of targets for it. And also against the Cauldron decks. And then we have the third Blot Out for blue-black. Liliana is in there for a number of things. She's a good mid-range threat. She's good against control and stuff like that. Torment to deal with enchantment decks. And the 4 Leylines of the Void. These are interesting because it's typically a card I don't really like to play because it's card disadvantage functionally. If you draw it and it's not in your opening hand, or even if it is in your opening hand, you kind of start out down a card, and hopefully that's worth a card or more against the decks that you're bringing in against, which it should be. But then, any that you draw subsequently are kind of dead. It's kind of clunky. It doesn't really do much outside of just hosing graveyard strategies. But the reason that I have it here over other graveyard hate cards like Ghost Vacuum and things like that is because against the Golgari Roots decks, they actually the way that Golgari the way that Insidious Roots works is they get value when a card leaves their graveyard. So when we're exiling their graveyard and they have a Roots out, they actually kind of like that because they get a lot of tokens whenever a creature leaves their graveyard into exile. So this goes around that. It provides a replacement effect so that they can't fill up the graveyard in the first place. So we have it in our opening hand, but then um, they don't get value off of it from the Insidious Roots. So I'm trying that out. I'm not sure. I'm kind of going out of my comfort zone and playing this card. It's not a card I like to play a lot. But we have ways to mitigate if we draw too many of them. I can discard with FOMO. So that's the idea there. We're giving it a try. I might just end up going back to playing more Betrayals and Ghost Vacuums if I don't like it. But yeah, that's it. And this is my attempt to salvage demons. And then I did mention that there's a couple other routes to go. I do think that the White Splash for Rest in Peace would be pretty good in this meta. Again, we would. The only thing that this deck does that uses the graveyard is FOMO, and that's not like a native part of the deck, so that's just part of our Red Splash. So White brings Rest in Peace, which is the most powerful graveyard hoser in the format, and does all the things that you need against all the graveyard decks. The only problem is, again, it's sort of card disadvantage. So if you're bringing it against Gruul Delirium, for example, they're not going to be that sad that you're taking them off Delirium that way because it costs you a card, and then their cards still are like a 2/3 or a 3/2 or whatever. So it's but yeah, this I would suggest if you're really interested in demons and you want to try to make it work despite it just being bad in this metagame, you could try Rest in Peace also and the White Splash instead of the red. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into some games. All right, hopping into our next round here. I'll play first. This is a fine hand. I'll keep it. Lead with Blazemire Verge. See if they have a creature for Go for the Throat. Blue-red. Guessing this is going to be a Cauldron deck. And what do we want to discard? Are we just discarding a Go for the Throat here? Sure. Got a land. Soulstone Sanctuary is nice, just giving us extra demons if we need it. Ooh, the opponent is missing land drops. Alright, let's attack. Play a Slasher. Opponent has two Marauding Makos. Alright, so I can do FOMO, discard a land. That gives us another type. Gets us a little bit closer to Delirium. And then I'll discard Blazemire Verge because we have all our colors and we can cast all the spells in our deck. So it's just a little bit of upside that way. And let's go ahead and attack. I'm not going to use Go for the Throat yet because they don't really have a good target for it. None of their stuff stabilizes the board anyways. Okay, they're going to take 7 there from the Slasher. Alright, opponent is up. And then next turn I can either double spell or play the 5 mana 6/6. Yeah, it was kind of... They kept a risky hand and just didn't pan out for them. And do we want... This is a question I was I was dreading, which is that do I want Leyline of the Void against blue-red? The blue-red... I guess the Soul Cauldron deck. You definitely want the Abrades. I'm gonna try the Leylines. Could be bad though. This might end up being embarrassing. We can cut fire magic. Their guys just get big fast. And Dreams and Duress are both reasonable. Maybe Cruel Claw Heist is a little slow. Sure, cut that. Blot Out isn't really awesome here. I'll cut one of those at least. Burst Lightning can take out an early Mako, so I guess that's fine, but maybe Cut Down's better because it can also hit, like, Vivi right away. Thinking. Strategic Betrayal is good either way. Yeah, maybe I'll cut a Burst Lightning. These Leyline on the voice take up so much space in the deck. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Can I cut one? Sure, let's just try it. I'm not even sure it's that good. This is pretty loose. I'm still kind of working this out. This is my first time playing this, the way I've set this deck up. So, please bear with me. The sideboard plan is loose. It's in a very early iteration. We're discovering this together. This is not a great hand. I'm gonna keep it though. It might be better than the next 6. There's a Mako. Ooh, another land. That's not what we wanted to see. Okay, let's go ahead and hit him with Dreams of Steel and Oil. And they have a FOMO and a Voldaren Thrill Seeker. Let's take the FOMO. That's kind of a little bit more aggressive. And I think they would probably rather play that on turn 2 than Memory. Voldaren Thrill Seeker is still a ways away from being a problem. Blot Out, yeah. We definitely need to tighten up our sideboard plan here against this deck. This is where the strategic betrayals are a lot better. They're a lot better than Leyline of the Void. Alright, I think before we annex, I'm gonna blot out their creature. Let's let them think that they're gonna pump it up some more this turn and see what happens. Tursa, sure. Okay, I'll let them discard. The Mako is gonna get bigger. And then I'm gonna take out the Mako. Let's just go ahead and take out the Light Shatter here. I mean, depending on how they put the +1 counters on. There's a Demon Wall. Doesn't do much. Does not do much here. This is not a good hand. Maybe I should just mulligan this. Duress. Yeah, I mean, we're very close to just dead. 6, so we're gonna put 2 more counters on it. 3, 9, okay. Yep. Nice. Leyline of the Void. We'll go Duress, Demon Wall. If they have a removal spell, we can take it. They do have a removal spell, but it's not really a one I'm threatened by. It's just as well, actually. I can't play Leyline of the Void here. It's just embarrassing. But I need other ways. Like, the problem is I cut all my graveyard hate for Leyline of the Void. For Golgari roots. And probably just... I mean, even though Golgari is a problem, it's probably just not a... It's probably just not worth it. Because it totally just kills our matchup against this deck, which is a top tier deck. It's a tier 1 deck, and there's probably more of these running around than there are anything else. So, or than there are roots, at least. Another land. I guess we're not technically dead yet. Another land. Okay, now we're dead. They just gotta put a +1 counter on Fear missing out with Prophecy Memory, and we're dead. Let's see, what do I want to do for sideboard here? Okay, yep, we're dead. GG. Leyline of the Void. Maybe I just shouldn't even have it. Maybe I'm better off just playing removal spells in this matchup. Yeah, we'll go for the throat back. Bring cut down in. And I think I need Withering Torment. Pretty clunky. Do I want a Burst Lightning or like a Blot Out? I guess I already have a Blot Out. It's not great here. Heist is okay, but not super great. It's just kind of slow. Burst Lightning is awkward because it's bad against FOMO and it's bad against Vivi. Where Cut Down is better against both of those. I think it's going to be either Cruel Claws or Blot Out. Let's go with Blot Out. Let's see if we can just keep the board clear, keep all their guys dead. It's one way to approach the matchup. I'll play first. Another hand with a lot of lands, nothing to do till turn 3. Not great. I do have a Raucous Theater to make up for it though, so I'm gonna keep it. Raucous Theater will hopefully help us get to something we can do on turn 2. Not that. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Insidious Roots, Leyline of the Void is good there, but I think against like almost any other deck, it's just not. So it's like it sort of demands 4 spots in your sideboard to even be viable. I mean, you can't play 1 or 2, so maybe I just have to take up a different strategy for Insidious Roots and be like, okay, you know, my instincts told me that Leyline of the Void was bad, and this has confirmed that. I don't think Insidious Roots is a good deck, but I don't think it's good enough to warrant playing that card, because it's bad against every other deck. I can't think of another deck it's good against, really. And we need some interaction, otherwise we're just going to get steamrolled same way we did last game. But that's sort of the problem with this deck you're seeing, is that even we do have fear of missing out to mitigate it, like I said during the deck tech, but we're still kind of just struggling with the deck having a hard time filtering its draws. Like the blue-red deck has so many ways to set its draw. Like it's always going to have what it needs, more or less. It's always going to be able to find it. It has so many cantrips and cantripping effects. Whereas this deck, it simply just doesn't. So we're going to Surveil. Cecil, he's okay. Cecil's okay here. Yeah, I'll keep it. My plan next turn is to probably flip a Unholy Annex. And at that point, we're going to start getting to a point where we're going to want to be double spelling. So I'm probably not going to double spell with Cecil this turn, but in the future it'll be helpful to have a 1-mana card that impacts the board like that. Opponent's just digging for removal. There it is. I'll still just block. Prevent some damage. I'm going to play the second one because sometimes these decks... There's an argument for just unlocking the one I already have. And there's an argument for unlocking the one I already have and holding the other one just to hold information from the opponent. But since they do have counter magic in these decks, and people like to bring in Disdainful Stroke and stuff like that against Demon's decks, I just want to get it out there while their shields are down. All they had untapped was a colorless land, so... I'm happy to take the trade if he wants to offer it. Okay. In case you're wondering why they just abraded my thing, it was because they needed Delirium to get the extra combat steps with FOMO, so... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can unlock another demon and play Cecil. It seems fine. Cecil goes to combat and survives the combat, now he's going to be flipping, and that's pretty good. There's the Soul Cauldron. They do have Thrill Seeker. They got Vivi too. They've only got 1 card left. Okay, they're not using it yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 mana this turn. I feel like the obvious play would just be to unlock the second Annex and play Slasher. And I think since they're low on cards, if I can just kind of hold off at this board state, kill him with Annex, that'd be good. But there is a question, do I want to have Burst Lightning up for... Because they're going to put a +1 counter on one of their guys, and it's going to go up to 4 toughness if it's a FOMO. And then they'll have Vivi next turn. I'm not sure how concerned I am about Vivi right now, because they don't have any... They don't have a lot of cards in their hand. So I think if we can just maintain this board state here and start drawing 2 and draining 2, that seems like the best plan at this point. So let's have the added upside if they, for some reason, decide to put the counter on the Seeker, we can blow them out. I doubt that they will. But... Yep. Here comes a Vivi. They are putting it on the FOMO. They're no fool. Okay. We're draining them for quite a bit, so they're going to be dead next turn, most likely, if they don't, unless they can really do a lot of damage this turn to me. I don't think that they can do that much. Yeah, I think against Golgari Roots, right after this game, I'm going to take the Leyline of the Voids out. And I'm going to replace them with cards that do things. And I'm going to say, against Golgari Roots, my win share will probably go down a little bit, but we'll adapt a different plan, which just involves probably just air superiority. I don't know, they have that 1 mana 1/1 Death Touch thing that... But we have removal. You know, what's that? The dragon, whatever? The 1 mana 1/1 Vigilance Death Touch Reach. That guy's really annoying, but we'll have enough removal. We should be able to deal with that. And we'll try to just kill him through the air. Or I don't know, maybe we'll just accept that's not a good matchup and we can shore up some of the other ones. Unable to scream, okay. On my demon. Okay, they're tapped out. Okay. I'm going to trade Cecil for the Soul Stone, but... Oh, okay, I see what they're trying to do here. So I can put the counter on the Soul Stone, is that the idea? And then... So... This guy's untapped, he gets another combat phase. It's interesting. I just need to keep my life total high here. It's probably the main trick to getting through this. Sure. So now they have 2 Vivies and Voldaren Thrill Seekers. Do damage equal to his power to any target. So they can do 4 or 7 damage to me with that. Oh, they have 4 mana for something? Uh-oh. Okay, Cecil is dead. This still doesn't do any damage. Five, 8. So that's use Vivi. This one still has a Vivi ability you can use. I basically just have to not get hit. And because I can only do 8 damage total that way. Okay. It's another doing 4. They could do another 4. If they sack it. We have the Abrade. We should be sitting pretty here. Oh, I could have killed them with Burst Lightning. I didn't think about that. My bad. Yeah, they should be dead right now because I forgot about the Burst Lightning Bloodlighter thing. Alright, well hopefully we don't get punished this turn. Okay, they have an Abrade of their own. I'm fine to just throw this guy away to save some life because we have another one coming. Alright, GG. Whew, that was a close one, and yeah, we got by that just by the skin of our teeth, and we're gonna make sure to take those Leyline of the Voids out. Ugh. Yeah, Shnikes, that was bad. I mean, Leyline of the Void is not... I don't like this card. I've never have. I don't like playing card disadvantage, even if it has a powerful effect. But against decks that have multifaceted and have like creatures and things, there's just other ways to... Decks that aren't completely reliant on the graveyard is just so bad against. So let's put another Betrayal in its stead. Play 2 Betrayals. And maybe a couple Ghost Vacuums. Ghost Vacuum is not great against Roots. It's really not. Probably what's a little bit better is Soul Guide Lantern, even though it's still not good because it exiles their graveyard. So it's like, I mean, can I just play Soul Cauldron? Maybe. We'll try one of each for now. Let's go with Strategic Betrayal because I actually feel like this card is not bad. Like it's good against the Growl Delirium decks too. But again, you know, against Insidious Roots, we just have to take our lumps. We do have 1 Lantern that can be helpful there. What do we think? Does this look a little bit better? Cut down, Duress, Fire Magic. We sort of saw some more limits of the Burst Lightning in that last one, where again, it's not that good against Blue-Red. I mean, is it weird that I just kind of want to play like 4 Strategic Betrayals and get rid of these ones, and then that opens up room to maybe cut some of our other removal? I like Strategic Betrayal because we're really in the market for removal anyways in this deck. I'm gonna go for it. Let's try it out. It just has a lot. The card just has a lot more versatility than the other ones. Four strategic betrayals, 3 blot outs. We have so many edict effects, and then we have a Lily too. I'm not sure if we're getting a little too heavy on some of the removal. But I don't know what to cut, really. Maybe I could cut a Go for the Throat. Yeah, sure, I'll cut a Go for the Throat. I have 2 main, and it's not the most exciting in this meta game right now. We could bring in another Heist against, like, control decks. Same with Duress. We could bring in another Lily. If we wanted more low to the ground removal, we could do that, but I think we got enough removal. This is something where if I had more time, I would just sit down and kind of create like a sideboard strategy. Like what I'm doing right now on the fly is something you generally want to avoid doing when you're getting serious about competitive Magic, which is just kind of throwing cards in your sideboard without thinking about your main deck construction and what your sideboard plan is against each of the meta game decks in particular, because your sideboard and your main deck should be seamless. Like you should have a set number of cards you're bringing out for each one, and then you're bringing in each one, and the sideboard plan should be robust. What I'm doing right now is just sort of ad hoc, just throwing some things in for the purpose of this video. So with that principle in mind, I'm just going to go ahead and throw in... with that disclaimer being said, I'm not going to do that right now because I just want to make this video and keep going and get right back into some games. I'll throw in a Duress because we're a little light on... we are a little light on interaction for... actually, I'm going to take out the Ghost Vacuum for a Soul Guide Lantern because it's just a little bit better against Roots. Being able to get their whole graveyard is, in one fell swoop, can be helpful sometimes. So yeah, we're going to try this, but bring in a couple more Duresses because we are getting a little bit light on if we run into control decks or something like that. Alright, our second round with Rakdos Demons. Not Pioneer Rakdos Demons, standard Rakdos Demons. Got a mulligan, a 7-lander, but the opponent mulligans 2, so we're even. This, oof. Do not like this hand, but it could get there. Heist and Fire Magic, both pretty bad. I'll try it. I don't know. This is not good though. Probably I'll discard the Heist. I mean, I might. Yeah. The Fire Magic maybe has a little more upside and practicality here. Interference, Feybloom Trick. We're up against our favorite deck, the blue-black deck. Both of these are pretty annoying. I'll take the Trick since they do have Curiosity. That could be bad. What did they take? They took Unholy Annex. Come on, give me a land. Alright, they're just naturally drawing other lands, but we're not. I see how it is. I see how it is here. There we go. They have that counterspell, though. I should have gotten rid of that thing. Okay, well they're gonna either Glimmer or counter our thing, so... Don't have good options. Just end turn, I guess. Should another land. Yeah. I mean, dude, we can't really... I should have taken the interference, I guess, but then... I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm unlikely to be able to resolve Shield Dread anytime soon. Unless I could throw out the Slasher just to eat a... Just to eat their counterspell. Okay. I do regret not taking the interference. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, it's not like I had good options either way. It was going to be really bad. So, I just have to eat one of their... I just have to eat a counterspell here, so we're going to throw out Bloodletter. Just throw it to the wolves, let them counter it. Yep. You know, the thing about interference is that obviously we're going to be having a low resource game, even though their opponent ended up drawing a bunch of land, so maybe, you know, it did look that way at first, but for me, it turned out being a low resource game, and I need to be able to resolve my spells and whatever, but if I hadn't taken out the other one, they'd be drawing like 4 or 5 cards a game, and I would be dead anyways, so I don't know. Maybe it was the right call. It's hard to say. Let me know if you have an opinion in the comments. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. And... let's try the other Bloodletter. Sure. Alright. I'm ready to scoop, I think. Yeah, we're not coming back from this. I mean, the opponent just got luckier than we did there. I don't know. Okay, we'll bring in... I don't know what much else we could have done there. Bring in this. Bring in this. So we're bringing in the third blot out. Crewclaw's Heist is slow and dirtily and not good here. Down to cut that. Duress is questionable. They have a lot of good creatures. Easy to whiff with a Duress. Definitely cutting Heist. Demon Wall is mid since they have so many good flyers. Cut a duress. Is there anything else that we want? I mean, a strategic betrayal is something that's even worth considering. Or a braid as another instant speed removal spell. Right now we have, for removal, we have these 3, 4, 5, 8, 10. We have 11 removal spells. Strategic Betrayal is so bad against like Faebloom Trick though. I'll keep the 1 Duress. It's nice having the information against this deck, and there are enough hits that I think 1 Duress is like justifiable. Play first. I'll keep this. We're going to lead with the Restless Vents, and then turn 2 we'll go with Dreams plus Cecil. We'll do the Dreams first to see what they have. Preacher, you have a Preacher, 2 Curiosities, a Flood Pit's Drowner, cut down. So Cecil's going to die. I'll take a Curiosity. This game's going to last long enough, I think, where that'll be a fine play to, a fine thing to do. And we're back where we need to just hit lands here. Hopefully we can draw lands again. Let's attack. Opponent takes the damage. I don't care about Preacher because they have Go Through the Throat. I'm going to save the Dreams for their second Curiosity. With my luck, they like top deck to Kaido right after. Nope, okay. That's good. That's good. Okay, we got the land. So do I want to remove the Preacher now? No, I need to to take out that that Curiosity. Now, do I want to keep this Annex now, or do I want to ship it and try to hit some more lands? And they could have a Fairy Mastermind. I have a Burst Lightning to deal with the Mastermind if I need to. I might want to use the Burst Lightning this turn on Drowner. Probably not, though. I'd rather not do that. I think I'll keep it. Okay, we're going to get the Curiosity out of their hand, because we can't have any of that going on. And I'll just pass. I'm down to trade a Preacher for a Cecil if they want to, but they're just going to cut down it instead, I'm sure. Just fine. I mean, we had to play off curve because of the Curiosity. This is just game over if that thing resolves. I'm going to just go ahead and Burst Lightning the Drowner now before we get too far behind on life total. I do fear a Fairy Mastermind right now. It's like my worst fear. I could play a Slasher. Or I could just hold up Go for the Throat and pass. And take out their Preacher. I think I like the Slasher. It advances my board. It does stop the Preacher from attacking. I want to wait on the Unholy Annex till I'm kind of caught up on board and stabilized there, so... why they would mill me 4, but okay. I'll take this trade. And I'll take 4. Okay, we finally got the land. Hopefully it's not too late. I'm glad they're tapped out now. It alleviates my fear of Fairy Mastermind, at least for this turn. Deep Cavern Bat's gonna take my removal spell, okay. That's just how it goes sometimes. I have plenty of other removal spells. I would not recommend playing Fairy Deep Cavern Bat post board against my deck. But that's okay. Here comes FOMO, he's gonna draw me a card. They have the Mastermind. You hate it. You hate to see it, but that is what it is. Blot Out can take out Mastermind or Bat. Essentially, it's going to kill the Mastermind by proxy because I get to go for the throw back from the Bat. They could flash in like a spoiler. Could flash in something. But I have... Yeah, I'm going to attack here. They're going to be in big trouble if they don't stop the Slasher FOMO thing. And then if they tap out to do that, then I can blot out their... I can do the blot out thing and get the Mastermind off the board. Because even if they sack the Bat, I still get the go for the throw back. Yep. Okay. Block FOMO. That's fine. That's also fine. Have another blot out, sweet. I'm super down to just take the damage. I'd rather have depth on my bench for demons. Yeah, let's blot out. I know they could have... I know they could have an Enduring Curiosity, but... I got 2 of them out already. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's good for them. Because then they get to exile that instead of the Bat. But we sort of anticipated something like that happening, so... Let's duress first, just see if they have a removal spell hiding in there. Nope, it's just a land. Okay, so we're free to go ahead. Get the demon out. Stabilizes the board and also puts a lot of pressure on them. This seems like a desperate move by the opponent. Unless they... Yeah, I mean, they could have a removal spell that they're just waiting to attack to use. But they didn't, so that's good. Alright, is that GG? Not quite. But it's pretty close. Alright. So that went okay. I mean, we definitely played Magic. Like, there was a lot of back and forth. But the longer that the game goes, as long as I can take care of curiosity and keep that off the board, I think we're okay. Anything I want to change, knowing that I'll be on the draw this time? Maybe like an Abrade comes in over one of these discard spells or a slower spell that we have. What would I cut for a braid? It's not great, but it's also like not terrible. And I kind of need to make sure I don't fall behind on the draw. The Demon Wall is fine. I don't think I want to cut Demon Wall. I could cut maybe a Bloodletter. Maybe on the draw, cutting one top end threat for another removal spell is okay. And there's still Duress too. Yeah, I think I'll try that. A Braid is definitely not. It's not in the sideboard for this matchup, but when we need kind of a critical mass of removal, I think it's fine. It'll often trade for another 2-mana spell that they have. This is an interesting hand, but I'll keep it. We'll see how good Fire Magic really is here. I mean, I don't think I wanted to draw 3 with no threats at all, but we'll see how that goes. There's a Bloodletter. That's pretty cool. And then we'll see if they explore, I will kill the Siren in response. Okay. Let's keep them off of that card advantage and filtering. Fey Bloom Trick. Yep. Another Spyglass Siren. Okay. For this one, I'm going to actually cut down. And then we have one more Fire Magic in the bank. And do I run out Bloodletter into probably a removal spell? I think it's fine to do that. Just make them have it. There's a bat. Bat's not going to be happy because I have a way to kill the bat and also a way to... I have 2 ways to kill it, so... Again, I don't recommend bringing in bat against removal pile black mid-range decks post-board. Just don't think that's a winning strategy. Let's go ahead and attack. Maybe I could attack with Restless Vents too. I should have considered that. I do have some lands I'd like to get rid of. Get their last, get the last Fire Magic out of the way, and yeah, let's go ahead and untap. We got a Slasher, that's pretty cool. So that'll replace our Restless Vents play this turn. So I'm okay with playing the land. Anointed with Affliction. Good answer to the... It's a good answer to my slasher. Sure. They're dead next turn if they don't. If they attack all out here, they're dead. So. No, they're keeping back the fairies, so that's smart. I'll take this trade, actually. Taking out one of their lands seems good. Oh, they drew another land. Okay. There's a question of, do I want to make hay while the sun shines while I still have his bloodletter and just start doming him in the face with these burst lightnings for 8 damage? I think I'm going to do that once here. He's dead next turn unless he has an answer to the bloodletter. Dang. Okay, that was a really good draw. Probably about the best possible draw they could have. Wow. Okay. Let's pass. I can activate Soulstone at the end of their turn. I'll take 3 here, and they don't know I have another Burst Lightning, so if they don't have an answer to the Soulstone and the Burst Lightning, then they're gonna die. Let's do it on their upkeep. Alright, good game. Nice. That was promising. I don't think that the opponent was... their sideboard plan didn't seem great, I'll say that. But... So, I don't think we were, like, playing against a top-tier blue-black player there. But still, it was promising. You could see how the fire magics were pretty awesome in the matchup. And our plans seemed to come together and work, so... That was pretty cool. Okay, round 3 with Rakdos, Demons, and Standard. Because usually it's not in Standard, usually it's a Pioneer deck. With Fable of the Mirror Breaker and whatnot. This is, oof. I am on the play. Dude, I need to draw a lot of things to make this work, but... Being on the play, if I was on the draw, I would send this back. I think on the play, I'm actually going to give it a shot. We'll see if I get punished. I probably will. I'll probably just draw all lands from here on out. There's the first one. So let's go ahead and put the starting town down. I don't like this. Okay, the opponent's not doing anything either. So maybe there's a chance this all works out. Of course, you draw nothing but lands when you keep a 5-lander, immediately draw 2 lands. But we're already almost there. We can do something next turn already. This would have been different if the opponent went like turn 1 Mako, turn 2 FOMO. We'd be in a bad spot, but they didn't. They had a slow hand too, so we're lucky in that respect. Another land? Alright. Alright. I mean, you gotta play the cards you're dealt, right? That's what they say. Shield Dread comes in. They draw a card. They lose 2 life. Cavern of Souls. I wonder what this deck is. Blue-red. It's Temur. Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, it's the ramp deck. Alright, well, against ramp our days are numbered, so let's go ahead and attack. Smuggler's Surprise is a very strong card in general. Scorching Dragonfire. Okay. That's pretty good. It's almost like they're planning us to just play a slasher. Is this the Terror of the Peaks deck? Okay, Overlord comes down. Doing 4 damage to Shield Dread. He's going to have another burn spell to finish her off, obviously. Alright. It's fine, I have a second Shield Dread. It's been sitting in my hand all game. Put that down. Put this down. And put down a Cecil. Alright. We're going to need to get lucky to win this one after how slow our hand was. Fire magic, that's not what we want to see. Alright, let's attack. Wow, they scoop. Okay. Talk about the luckiest game of all time. It was so lucky and so unlucky at the same time. Fire Magic comes out, probably Burst Lightning too. Go for the Throat might be good. I'm not sure what they're trying to put in. I see that they do have... The only creature I saw was Overlord of the Boiler Bilges. I've seen Temur decks like this before with Smuggler's Surprise and Terror of the Peaks. Terror of the Peaks dies to a lot of our removal, but it's not... You're not really getting ahead by removing Terror of the Peaks in a lot of situations because it's its ETB effect that really gets you. Duress, Dreams, and Heist all seem good. We're trying to disrupt them. They have a blend of creatures and non-creatures, I believe. So that should be okay. Burst Lightning will come out. Liliana seems good if we can keep the game small. Cruel Claws, Heist, bring that in. Do we want another Duress? Or do we want to go for like some big removal? Blot out. Strategic Betrayal. I don't know if we're dealing with any really graveyard shenanigans here to where that extra... I think I like Betrayal though more than Blot Out just because it costs less and they're not gonna... It doesn't seem like they have a lot of creatures, but they're gonna have a few high impact creatures, so the Edict should be good. This also stores up in case they're trying to do any kind of graveyard shenanigans, which I'm not sure yet. Didn't see any indication, but it could be the case. So we have Go for the Throat. Demon Wall is not great. I think I'm okay cutting a Demon Wall for a Duress. Alright, let's try this. Let's try this. I'll keep even though it's not my favorite hand. Opponent mulligan to 6, mulligan to 5, okay. Llanowar Elves, okay. That gives me a target for the Betrayal. Happy with that. It's really gonna hurt losing that resource when they have such a low number of cards to begin with. Getting to 5 and being on the play, it's rough. It's rough stuff, especially when you're playing a ramp deck that needs a critical mass of resources to do what it needs to do. Dreams or Annex? I'm gonna go with the Annex because there's a fair chance they just don't have anything. Sir, their hand is so low. I don't want to spend my whole turn 3 doing a 1-mana spell and even potentially whiffing. Whereas this, okay. Well, since this game was so fast, I think I might just play another one for the video. All right, hopping into our bonus round, round 4 here. This is fine. On the play, it's salvageable not having a 1 or 2 mana play, so we'll try it. This was on the draw, I might mulligan. Blue-black again, alright. Our nemesis. Do I smell a Fairy Mastermind? Am I playing around Fairy Mastermind here? I don't think I am. If they want to draw 1 card, that's okay. We can blot out next turn maybe if we don't want to play. I can't live in fear. You can't live in fear. You gotta just jam it. Hope they don't have the Mastermind. Of course. They always have it. Ugh. That's disgusting. Just so gross. There's a Go for the Throat. I think we should try to play the Bloodletter. Just run it out. It's gonna die or something. But die or get countered or something. But then next turn we can double spell. Hopefully get back on track. The fact that they have Fairy Mastermind on turn 2 is just like, you know, it is what it is. And we're kind of demonstrating right now why this deck, even though I didn't draw my good cards, you know, I guess I drew Blot out, but I didn't draw the, yeah, no, there's just too many things for us to deal with at this point, so we're gonna lose this game, but I think before playing the Demon Wall, I'm just gonna take care of their nonsense over there. I shouldn't be so fatalistic. We're not necessarily a lot to lose this game. We still have an Annex in play. They can't deal with it. We're going to draw a lot of cards. We can catch up on cards. So Their board is clear. We're hemorrhaging life, but maybe that's okay if we can just manage to rally for... Because we have all these cards that are good here and can start getting us life back. So let's go ahead and... Let's go Demon Wall and Cecil this turn. Actually, I think I should have done one of the 4-drops plus Cecil instead. If I'm being honest. Another Mastermind? No, okay. Yeah, what I was saying is that you can see how just the mechanics of this matchup are so terrible for us. You know, we have cards that are good against their things that I've kind of brought in. I've kind of forced them into the deck. Fire Magic and Blot Out, but it's still just miserable the way that the core of the deck lines up. I need more lands, but with my hand currently, I just need more things to do also, so... Okay, cut down my Cecil. Yeah, I think it probably would have been a better move a couple turns ago to do a 4-drop plus Cecil instead of Demon Wall. Because then I would be able to be doing more double spells now. So I end up with like 1,000,000 4s in my hand. We left 2 mana on the table that turn, I think. So...
I just hate a fair fight.
Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus, yeah, we're pretty dead. Okay. Alright. Fire Magic, Blot Out, Cut Down. Those are the main ones we're bringing in. And we cut, what did we cut last time? Some Duresses. Yeah, Crew Claw's Heist is awful. Too slow. Yeah, we did this last time, right? On the play. And then on the draw, we cut like a Bloodletter for an Abrade. Alright, let's give it a shot. Yeah, I know I made that one error, but I don't know if it would have mattered. They really had a nutty draw. This is fine. Lead with the Theater. Opponent mulligans. Cecil is good here. I would, yeah, actually cast 2 spells on turn 2. I like that. If I need to. Probably has a cut down, but no, they don't. Okay. So if I Fire Magic in response, Then he just takes the slasher. I don't remember if this bad. I know like some of the old cards they used to work where it would be permanently exiled if you remove the creature in response. I don't know if that's how this still works. So. Let's just fire it off. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay exiled. No, oh, there's whiffs. Okay, cool. Yeah, they changed that rule. That's pretty cool. They still get to see my hand, apparently. Okay. Yeah, or maybe they just changed templating. I have to look into that a little bit, but... Look at the target opponent's hand. When it enters, look at the hand. Okay, they just scoop. Sure. Alright, now we're on the draw. Yeah, again, I don't understand the logic of keeping all the bats in against a pile of Rakdos removal spells, but apparently that's what people are doing. Okay, now do I want to cut something for an abrade? I don't know, I tried it last time, it worked out alright, I think. It worked out alright, I think. But I'm still not sure if that's what I want to do. My hand could end up being really clunky, like... Sort of... All of these cards they can be liabilities against the deck, especially on the draw. And they can just tempo you out so easily. So which one is kind of like the one I'm most willing to part with? Cut a Bloodletter on the draw again. It doesn't impact the board if you're on the back foot on turn 4, like it's just a little slow. It's important not to get too far behind against blue-black. Alright, here we go. Spyglass Siren. Does that make me want to play an untapped land? To disrupt their ability to explore. And then Cecil throws another interesting question into the equation too. Okay, so how do I want to sequence this? FOMO is not going to be great on turn 2 here because I like my hand. There's nothing really that I need to get rid of, so... I could plan to just play Cecil now and then play a tap land and Fire Magic on turn 2. They're tapped out, so they can't get the tempo advantage of killing Cecil on my turn, so yeah, let's try that. The downside here is that they get to explore if they need to, but... Okay, comes the bat. It's gonna take Fire Magic, I'm sure. So now that I got a land, I'm actually happy to play FOMO and discard my tap land. So that worked out kind of nice. I might go up to 4 Fire Magic now that I've tested it, and it does seem very potent in this matchup. So I am considering going up to 4. Okay, so I'm probably going to have to burn my blood out on that bat. Which is not the end of the world. They're missing land drops? I think they did miss a land drop. If I do blot out now, I'm vulnerable to Kaido next turn. If I blot out on this turn, or on their turn, if I wait till their turn, I'm vulnerable to a counterspell. They know I have it. I know they're going to attack with it either way. I guess I'll just do it now. I don't know. If Kaido comes, we're not in a good spot, but I don't think that holding the card does much against that anyways, so... Yeah, this is a Kaido attack.
Don't worry, Pop Jam. I've got this. Never underestimate my skills.
Instant land. I don't... Yeah, so... I can't play FOMO for profit here, so... I can't play FOMO to get Delirium and get an extra attack phase. Okay, attack for 8. With my if I put the Bloodletter down, that's not really enough. I could Annex. Doesn't seem great either. I think my best bet is to just go Bloodletter and then just try to get them dead fast. Flip Cecil. Now they have to worry about dying on their turn, or on my next turn. It's a pretty close game. Okay, they hit a land there. I killed my guy, tap Cecil. We doing swinging for 4 here, swinging for 5, okay. Alright. And we have creature, instant, land. Oh man, I can almost untap Cecil and win, but it would still have it would still be tapped because the stun counter just dashes my hopes on that. But what we're doing is we're playing FOMO and we're discarding Unholy Annex. That'll give us Delirium. Get another land. So I can take out Kaido now.
Can't give in. Next time, I'll win.
I have Fire Magic and I can play around a counter spell if I play the land now, so let's do that. Because their counterspell that they usually play is counter unless your opponent plays 2. Sometimes they play the other one, the one that can hard counter cancel and has a few other modes. Sometimes they play like one of those in the deck, but it's not very common. Oh wow, I didn't realize my, oh no, I didn't realize my only red spell, my only red source did damage to me. Wow, okay. Yeah, the black, I mean, I wanted to play the Black Leaf Cliffs, but I couldn't because it would come in tapped. Okay. Alright, that was a really close game though. That was a good game. Um, and yeah, I guess I just didn't, there's nothing I could really do because of the first spring situation. Alright. Good game. Alright, so in review, I really do like the deck. It's not only is it fun, but I do think that the Fire Magic Blot Out plan is fairly effective against Dimir. Like those games against Dimir were really close, and it seemed like we were on even footing there. I might even go up to a fourth Fire Magic because it's just so good in the matchup. Not sure what to cut though, but the sideboard needs a lot of work still. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you have any suggestions or any opinions about this deck, or if you think black-white's just a better way to go. And once again, thanks everybody for watching, and please like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I really appreciate it so much. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.